Alright, in this video we are going to be repairing this 2007 Apple MacBook Pro. Now I got this machine for free from fellow YouTuber Matt S78MN, and the reason I got it for free was because it is broken. Now, this being a 2007 MacBook Pro, it has the nVidia GeForce 8600M GT integrated graphics card. It is a dedicated graphics card, and on this model it is known to be defective. These chips were actually victim to a manufacturing error on nVidia's part, and therefore they fail rather quickly. Some have even failed within the first year of the computer being owned. Now, unlike the 2006 MacBook Pro I repaired in my previous video, this one actually has a problem with the chip, as I said, instead of it just coming unmounted from the board, like the ATI ones are prone to. But nonetheless, reflowing the chip can actually fix it, albeit for probably not permanently. So I'm going to go ahead and open it now and show you the inside. The keyboard tray has been removed, and it did not come with a hard drive. It did, however, come with 2 gigs of RAM, which is quite nice. As you can see, it is quite dusty, which probably could be some sort of factor to this, because I don't think they fail as quickly if they're not as hot, if they don't run as hot. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to clean it out, as I do with all the machines. But that could be a factor to its failure, so I'll have to take out the fans and look at the heatsink in a minute. Overall, the machine is in decent condition, I guess. The main problems it has is mainly just a little bit of sticky residue. It has a couple dents. There's one there, as you can see. A bit of scratches, too, but nothing too bad. Most of this can all be cleaned off. So yeah, before I proceed with the repair, I'm going to go ahead and put the keyboard tray on and turn on the machine just to show you what it does now. So I'm going to put down the camera real quick, plug this in. Alright, the keyboard tray is plugged in, so let's go ahead and power it up. Now, as you could hear, it does bong and initialize correctly, except if you can see the, you can't really see because the light is on, but the little LED right here is on, kind of dim, and there is nothing on the display, as you can see. So it is definitely a victim of the failed nVidia graphics chip. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is take out the logic board and give it a look, and after that I will be doing a BGA reflow on it. So I'll resume the video once I remove the logic board. Alright, as you can see, I have removed the logic board from the system. And if you look at the chips here, the thermal compound job on this machine as compared to my 2006 MacBook Pro that I repaired is quite a bit better. I can tell they did use slightly higher quality thermal compound, and they didn't use as much, at least on the CPU and GPU. However, as you can see on the north bridge here, there is quite a bit of excess, which is quite strange. But anyway, this chip isn't the problem, of course. Yeah, the nVidia chip here, as I mentioned earlier, does indeed have a manufacturing defect, causing it to fail quickly. But a BGA reflow can usually fix it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing a BGA reflow on this chip, just as I did on the 2006 one with the ATI graphics. Now, it won't be as permanent a fix on this one, of course, but it still should get it working. So, yeah. So, here's the inside of the machine. As you can see, it is extremely dusty in that vent here. This is actually the air intake area for the system. it does have quite a bit of like weird hairs and stuff in it too, which has probably affected it quite a bit. But I'm of course going to take my air compressor and blow all that out. So yeah, it should be nice and clean by the time I'm done with this. So anyway, instead of just cutting over after I finish the BGA reflow, I'm actually going to take some footage while I'm doing the BGA reflow, just so you guys can see what the exact method I'm doing is. I put it in the description of my last video, but I'm just going to be doing the exact same thing with this board as well. So I'll be right back once I get the thermal compound cleaned off, the heatsink, and the logic board, and we will go ahead and start the BGA reflow process. So I'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see, I have removed all the thermal compound from both the chips here and the heatsink here. So now we are almost ready to proceed with the BGA reflow. So before we start, you're going to need to remove these two black tab things here. I made the mistake before of not removing them. They actually melted, so, or at least this one did. The other one was fine. But just be sure to remove those. They easily slip back on. As you can see, they were quite easy to remove. So yeah, all the thermal compound is removed. And I'll resume the video and show you the first step to the reflow process. Now, I do know there are much better ways to do this than using a heat gun, but unfortunately the heat gun is the only method I have handy at this time, and it has worked before, so it should work just fine for this as well. So I'll be right back. Alright, so the first step before we start reflowing the board is you need to make a piece of aluminum foil such as this. It's not too big, but it's enough to cover the entire board, as you can see there. Now, you do want to cut out a place for the chip, like I've done, and this will serve as a heat protector and shield off most of the heat from the rest of the board that we don't want to reflow, obviously. So, yeah, just make this, and in a minute we are going to wrap it around the whole board, but that will come after the first thing I'm going to show you. Alright, so before we put the aluminum foil on, we are going to take a heat gun. Now this is a really bad heat gun, it only has like one speed. So yeah, it's not optimal for this. However, it's all I have. So, just, if you have a variable speed heat gun, start it off on high, and you're going to hold it a decent amount away, and just heat the board, the whole board. This is called the preheat. This is called preheating, and yeah, just heat the whole board for I'd say about a minute or so, back and top. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can figure out a way to mount the camera and show you that. Be right back. Alright, so I couldn't really find a way to mount the camera since I'm using my iPhone to record this like I normally do. So I'm just going to lean the board up like that and take the heat gun and turn it on. So here we go. So it hasn't heated up yet, so just wait a second. Just take it and go around the board like this. And that should be just about good for the preheating. So I'll go ahead and put the board down, like so. Actually, I'm going to be putting it on here for the reflowing process. So now I'm just going to put my aluminum foil on, and I'll resume the video. Alright, so as you can see, I have wrapped my aluminum foil around the board. And it is in position of the chip with the cutout, as you can see. Now the process we are going to be following with this is basically we're just going to, if you have a variable speed heat gun, you're going to hold it about this far away from the chip, moving it around like this for about 4 minutes. Now if you don't have a variable speed heat gun like this, you're going to do it in about 30-second increments 30-second increments, like 30 seconds on, like 10 seconds off, 30 seconds on, a little bit farther away than you would on a variable speed heat gun. And we're going to be doing that for the whole process of about 4 or 5 minutes. So over here I have my 2006 MacBook Pro, which I'm just going to be using as a stopwatch. So we'll go ahead and start it now. I say wait about 5 seconds in between. And it's about at 4 minutes 10 seconds now, and that should be fine. So now just wait for it to cool, because it's obviously going to be pretty hot. And I will be right back once the board is all cool, and we will start the reassembly process of the machine. So be right back. Alright, so the logic board has finished cooling down. And while that was cooling off, I actually cleaned out the MacBook Pro here. There is a little bit of dust left in there. I couldn't get it out with the air compressor for some reason. But the heat sinks are, for the most part, pretty dang clean. So should work just fine once I put it back together. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble it and resume the video once I'm done. And for the first test, so be back in a sec. Alright, I have now gotten the machine put back together and a working battery and memory installed. So now let's go ahead and power it up. Actually, I'm going to turn off the light real quick. Alright, so let's go ahead and power it up. Now keep in mind, this is the first power on test. I have not tested this before, and I have no idea if it'll work. So here goes nothing. It worked! Unbelievable. Well, the nVidia chip has been restored. Let's just wait and see if it comes up with a flashing question mark. Now remember, this is only a temporary fix, as I mentioned earlier, but yeah, it's working. And as soon as I get this all, I'm going to put a hard drive in and get Mavericks installed and put this on eBay. Fans are ramping up. And there's a flashing question mark. I'm going to have to check my thermal sensor connections, because usually that causes the fans to do that. But, yep, that is a successful fix. So yeah, that is a successful fix of the nVidia chip. It's temporary, as I said, but it does indeed work. So I'm going to go ahead and get a hard drive in, and I'll be right back once I get a hard drive in and the machine completely reassembled. So yeah, be right back. Alright, just a quick update before I finish reassembling it. I did check my thermal sensor connections, and sure enough, one was not plugged in properly. But now that I've gotten it plugged in, it is now running with its fans at normal speed. So yeah, I will resume the video once the machine is reassembled. Alright, as you can see, I have gotten the machine put all back together. So let's go ahead and open it up and turn it on. Now the hard drive I put in this machine already has an install of Mountain Lion on it. So we're just going to go ahead and boot into that and go ahead and make sure everything works. So let's go and boot it up. My startup disk isn't set, so yeah, it's going to take a bit. Alright, I hear it doing something now. Alright, and there it goes. Taking quite a bit to boot, but it probably won't take this long once I get Mavericks installed. Alright, so let me go ahead and log in here. Alright, you can see we have full accelerated graphics support. Let's go ahead into Launchpad here. Alright, you can see both cores of the Intel Core 2 Duo processor are detected. Let's go ahead and quit. As you can see, we are running macOS 10.8.5, which is what's on this hard drive, of course. This machine has an Intel Core 2 Duo at 2.2 GHz and 2 GB of DDR2 memory. As you can see here, it detects the nVidia GeForce 8600M GT graphics card with 128 megabytes of video memory. And yeah, everything is detected and the machine is working perfectly fine. So that is the repair of this 2007 15-inch Apple MacBook Pro. Hope you enjoyed this video.